All right, good stuff. Here we go. This is Tommy Chong for WRNJ in three, two, and one. Northwest Jersey's own RNJ, good morning to you. It is Bert. It is the RNJ morning program, and there still remains, unfortunately, to this day, a lot of uncertainty surrounding the cannabis community, which, as we know, just became legally for recreational use here in the state of New Jersey. And that's why two entrepreneurs have come up with the first ever consumer cannabis connection, cleverly called the 420 Expo. And it's going to be happening September 16th through 18th at the New Jersey Convention and Expo Center in Edison. And joining me now on the RNJ morning program via Zoom to lend a little clarity to the situation and bring about some common sense to the conversation. I don't even know how to introduce my guest, Tommy Chong, who does so many things and has done them so well. Writer, activist. Tommy, how do people introduce you nowadays when you do some media stuff like this?
Yeah, well, this is what I've been doing all my life, is smoking pot and talking about it. So
Well,
this is
welcome.
new.
Good to have you here, man. And we're relatively new here in the state of New Jersey with this legalized cannabis, and it's very much in its infant stages here, Tommy. Were you happy to see this as state by state by state as we kind of go across the map begins to
Yeah,
legalize
well,
cannabis?
yeah, it's like a good joke, it gets passed around and it gets legs as it moves around it.
Yeah.
But like New Jersey and New York, it's kind of funny because what you're really doing is you're going legal on a substance that's been illegal and real easy to get if you knew the right people for my lifetime anyway, and probably be beyond that too, because the jazz really started like in New York, which is really North New Jersey, and
Yeah.
and it was the jazz guys that got people smoking pot recreationally, and jazz, you might as well say, started like in New York, and so now they've just taken the racist laws away. We're just losing the racist law, and we're like almost back to when the native people lived in that area.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Tommy, because that's been a real heavy point of discussion here in New Jersey regarding the whole, erasure of past criminal prosecutions and things. And anyone who has been done prison time or has it on their criminal record for possession, for use, for whatever, one of the things has been, well, how do we wipe the slate clean now that this is legal? What do we do about clearing up the past records of people? That's really been a hotly contested issue here in New Jersey. But should we just wipe these past records clean of people who have been convicted on charges of possession and use and things like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. It should all be cleaned away. But it's tough for the municipalities to do that because of because it's mistakes that the forefathers made, and we live in a physical world where you only learn from your mistakes. And what I, in in legalizing, I mean, decriminalizing or criminalizing pot was a big mistake that was made back in the day when they were making mistakes left and right, and and what it was, as we all know, it was just an excuse to go after slaves and ex-slaves and people of color and anybody with an accent, anything. Remember, liquor prohibition was really a racist law, against the Italians, the French, and the Bolsheviks, back in the day. That because the Italians and the French and everybody, they need their wine, because the water was so terrible in those early countries, and so what we're experiencing now is the American version of the racism being slowly eliminated.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot of time, obviously. And Tommy, I have a favorite saying that says there's no way to unscramble an egg. What if 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whoever are the big decision makers here in the state of New Jersey say, you know what, this whole thing was a mistake. Let's go back to the way it was. Let's start locking people up again. Let's start criminalizing them again. We can never go back to that now that we've come this far, can we? That's not realistic.
No, no, and we won't. And that's where old people dying comes in. You know, that there's a reason, you know, that the life expectancy isn't that long, because you let these idiots, you know, hang around, and they will, like you say, mess up the scrambled eggs. You know, you can't unscramble it, and that's the same. You know what I realized, you know, when I went to prison, and people, then they legalized it, and then I've had, you know, people say, well, you know, are you going to go after the government, blah blah blah, you know, and I thought of it, you know, because they took uh, it cost me over $1 million, and a lot of that was cash that they, just because I got busted for a drug bust, they took every penny of cash that I had in the house, and said, automatically said, well, it's drug money, you know, which it wasn't. You know, it was T-shirt money that I got from selling T-shirts. But you know, so I'm out. I was out a lot of money. I don't look at it that way. You know, I look at it like it's done. It's water under the bridge. The other thing I learned from watching the new space telescope, and that is that this Earth of ours is moving, and even if you wanted to go back, it's impossible. You can't go back. You can't unscramble those eggs. And
Yeah.
so the thing to do is go forward, and go forward in a very humane, loving way. You know, that's what I want to see. You know, like people, you know, with the political discourse that's going on today, you know, with Trump and the boys, and all that. You know, they're looking to cause trouble. You know, it's the old alcohol mentality. You know, where you can go punch somebody, you know, for no reason. Uh, Alcohol, and that's what pot did. It did pot. Back in Vancouver, back in the '60s, I had an after-hours club, and we changed it from a booze club, because it was a bottle club, and you couldn't buy the alcohol there, but you could bring your bottle in, and then every once in a while the cops would raid the place and take all the half empty bottles out of there. You know, it was like a ritual. And then all of a sudden the pot came in, and no one was drinking, and so the cops would come in with their big boxes to carry the bottles, and there was nothing there. And because the pot made everybody laugh and joke, and it didn't take long for the cops to get the idea that, you know, those days are gone. And so this is what happens in New Jersey too. You know, the old days, you know, Tony Soprano days, they're gone, and now here we are, and get ready for, you know, Mother Teresa.
Yeah. Yeah. But
It's
we're taking
everybody
we're going to
smiling
definitely
and doing good.
we're taking a big step forward, that's for sure, with the 420 Expo, which is coming to Edison at the New Jersey Convention and Expo Center, September 16th, 17th, 18th. The number 420, 420expo.com is how you can get some tickets and information. What's your role in New Jersey that weekend, Tommy? What are you going to be doing?
Just being me, you know, getting high, and if they got me on stage, maybe do a little bit of stand up. You know, it depends. You know, right? I'm at that icon stage now where they don't pay you; they
Oh,
award you a plaque or something, and then they expect you know, you to do the act where you used to get paid thousands of dollars for. So I'll be doing that,
all
and
right.
just having fun. And you know, first of all, I really love New Jersey. I always have. I've got a very dear friend of mine. He passed away. He was a bodybuilder, and he was from New Jersey, and
Wow.
he was Mr. Natural. He was Zabel Kazuski was his name.
Hmm.
He was the song that Nature Boy, that Nat King Cole sang many years ago. It was about Zabel,
Oh,
and
wow.
and he was a New Jersey boy, but he was like it was the country, the New Jersey countryside.
Mhm.
Like he never lived in a city. They used to carry 22 rifles around with them, and he became a high diver. But it was the countryside of New Jersey. It wasn't no city.
Very
It
cool.
was the countryside, and that's what we're going to start seeing more of. You know, because that weed and country living go hand in hand.
Yeah, yeah, we service four very rural counties in the state of New Jersey, and we do have one legal dispensary here in the town of Phillipsburg, New Jersey, which has been meeting the needs of the customers since the day it opened. Tommy, the lines are still out the door, down the street, and the demand is still there. And I'm sure that you would agree. And a lot of people are saying this has been such a long time coming, and what took you so long? But here it is. Let's make it work for everybody.
Yeah, and we don't have to do anything. Like the plant itself, years ago they used to say, what's going to happen when they legalize it? I said, your grandmother will grow more weed than you'll ever use in a lifetime. When they legalize it, and that's the way it's going to be. I'm a grandfather now, and I grow weed, and all my siblings, all my kids, grandkids, and that, they don't have to buy any weed.
Mhm.
They come by dad's house, grandpa's house, and stock up.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. But again, visit the website 420expo.com. It's 420expo.com. September 16th, 17th, 18th, New Jersey Convention and Expo Center in Edison. And a lot of these events, Tommy, there's no smoking, but this particular one, believe it or not, they will have an outdoor smoking section. It'll be encouraged. I've never seen this before at any kind of event in the state of New Jersey where they're going to be encouraging smoking.
Well, you see how society runs, because back in you take Colorado, there was my son went to school in Boulder, and I used to go to the hotel in town there, and I was fine. I could smoke it anywhere, until they legalized it. And then once they legalized it, then you can smoke in anywhere. I'm sorry, it's a no smoking, or they knew what it was, but now they're enforcing these smoking laws, these no smoking laws. But I beat that because I've got a company making me breast strips, and the breast strips are like smoking a joint.
Wow.
And the breast strips are, I'll bring them when I come. I'll turn you on. And they're so great. They're so handy. You can do them anywhere, in a restaurant, in a club, anywhere, and just a little breast strip. And there you are. You're hungry and you'll eat anything that people put in front of you.
Very cool. Tommy, let's wrap up with the question I've been waiting to ask you for a while now. And we just got word, and statistics and data is showing we now have more cannabis consumers than we do smokers of tobacco in the United States. What's Tommy Chong have to say about that?
Well, it means we got more people that don't want to catch cancer and don't want to have, die of lung disease and be a statistic. And we got more people that if they don't feel like smoking, they don't smoke. They don't have to go out in the middle of a snowstorm and smoke because they're so addicted. So we gave back the cannabis, give them back their soul.
Yeah. Yep. Tommy Chong, great to have you joining me this morning via Zoom on the RNJ morning program, and look forward to welcoming you back to the great state of New Jersey in a couple of weeks. And thanks so much for the time today, my man. Greatly appreciated.
Okay, and just one post note. I smoke joints.
I would have never known that.
Okay, in case you want to give me a little party, a little welcoming party. People always want to know, are you a bong man? Are you a whatever? Zap? I do the strips, but I do smoke joints. I like the feeling of control.
Awesome stuff. Tommy Chong, thank you so much, my friend, and see you in Jersey in a few weeks.
See you in the Puma. Take care. Okay, there we go.
Thanks, man.